Hey guys, it's Ben, and today we're here with the old man and his EH and Mick at Nippon Nostalgic, and I'm here today to do the driver's side disc brake conversion on the 620. Check him out. Look, this is the passenger side. She's all done, all back together. There was like half a ton of mud and dirt come out of that. We're all jammed up in here and fucking everywhere, but like, whoa, flash bolts and shit. Like, that side is all D21 disc brake now. So all we need to do is make this side D21 disc brake, which is right here. So first step, whoever pulled these off, like, cut the ball joint off. So we're going to use D21 top ball joint, 620 bottom ball joint. I just got a whack me puller on here, like so. Then we'll do this nut up, hit that with a hammer, and it should just go fucking bang and come off. So we'll get that bit done, then we can start pulling the 620 apart. Alright, so we've got the puller on. We're gonna crank him up and then see if it pops. If you know it'll pop, then I'll hit it with the hammer a couple times. Bang! There we go, it hit me in the gut. Pop! Alright, so now we can hook in and start pulling apart this 620. Oh, get ready for the dirt. So I guess step one, take your wheel off. Like, you could probably do it with the wheel on there, but it wouldn't be much fun. So I've spent about 20 minutes now wire brushing the dirt off of all the nuts I need to get. So we need to get these top ones. I'm just thinking, yeah, D21 ball joint's going in the top. So this whole ball joint's gonna stay with this spindle. The bottom ball joint I'm gonna separate, and we're gonna use this ball joint that's still on here and just change the rubber and re-grease it and everything. We also need to undo the steering, which is here. So our next job is to pull this pin out. Pull the pin out on this as well, and the brake line here we have to undo as well. So I've sprayed that all up with WD-40, clean some of the mud out. You wait till you see the pile we'll get at the end of this. Alright, so I've got them pins out, I've got the castle nut off of the steering. Next I'm going to put it back on, upside down, and leave about a 3mm gap at the bottom. This is so the puller doesn't damage this or the nut, because it'll damage the top of the castle nut and it'll damage the top of this thread if you're not careful. So I'll show you how we do that once I've got it on. So that's how I put it on. So it's flush sort of at the top, has a bit of a gap at the bottom, and then the puller, when you put it in here and here, it's not going to crush anything up here, especially the little hole that the pin goes through in there and the top of these castle bits. Like, they're fairly easy to crush if you're not careful. So now we're going to stick the puller on and knock this one off. So, and that's how you do that bit. So I've got another boot to go on here, and I'll grease this all back up, and we're fucking sweet. Alright, so next up we're gonna crack the nut on the top of this ball joint, and then we're gonna flip the castle nut over and do the same thing. For this ball joint you will want a 24mm. For the steering ball joint you're gonna need a 19. So just so you're not there digging through your tools all day, I'll try and tell you what you need. Alright, we're gonna kick this one here off to crack it. Oh, maybe not. Hang on, we're gonna have to get on the ground to do it. You ready? There we go. Alright, so that's as good as done. I'm just gonna turn that nut over, and then we're gonna knock it off. So I forgot you don't need to put the castle nut back on this because I'm going to use a different puller. It's called the Pickle Rick fork, and the big fucking hammer. Right, so put your nut back on to protect that while everything's flopping around here. All that's hanging on now is the brake line up here, so we're going to undo that with a 10mm and pop this clip off, and that'll come straight out. And then this top ball joint, which is just these 4 bolts up here. They're actually threaded into the ball joint, but I'm going to replace them with bolts that go down into the D21 ball joint. Yeah. So crack this brake line. Get this ball joint undone. That's all we got to do. 1 10mm brake spanner. Use the brake spanner, and then these 4 here, I'll tell you what they are when I start undoing them. Right, so the brake line's off. Once you've undone that with your 10mm brake spanner, this clip here, it just like pulls out the top like that with a lot of effort, and it goes back in the same way. Normally with a few taps from a hammer. So that line's out. That's all hanging there by these 4 12mm bolts. So we're going to smash them off. This is all going to fall on the ground, and then we're going to get to do some archaeology. Ready? Here she goes. Hey! Go away, rubbish. Alright. So I guess you call that halfway. The other bit goes on kind of the same but opposite. Traffic by Dorothy McMillan. Photos by Trevor Hyde. Published by this mob here probably. Here is a bus. Here is a fire engine. Here is a truck. A truck? Are you fucking sure? Fucking looks like a ute to me. So I've taken the bottom ball joint out as well because I'm going to replace the bolts, and I'm going to pull this rubber off, clean this right out, grease it up, put a new rubber on it, and get all this mud out of here. Once we get that done, then we're kind of ready to start putting it back together. I'll get that done, and then I'll get back to this. So this ball joint is all refurbished now. It's new rubber, new lock ring thing around there, all new bolts. You put the bolts in from the bottom so they don't like shear off on crap. Now people will be wondering why I didn't just replace this ball joint, and the answer is because this is the original 620 Japanese ball joint and there is nothing wrong with it. If you put a China ball joint on it, you'll be changing it again in 2 years. So this one here will go like another 40 years. That's why. Alright guys, so the next step is to get your D21 spindle and brakes and bits and stick them on that bit, and then we're going to put the nut on, and then that'll all kind of be captive. Then we can start getting the top of it in, and like we're so close to being done now. You watch. Now this big one on here is a 24 the big castle nut on the ball joint, that is. I don't know if I told you or not when I undid it. I forgot it. Well, I might have forgot it. I might have told you. Anyway, that's almost there now. Should go on a little bit easier than this. I probably should have used a bit of grease because I've cleaned it up with degreaser and washed all the grease off the thread. But she should be alright. Shouldn't matter too much. Move this round here. Get a bit more turn. Instead of going quarter turn at a time, let's go for like, well, no, that's only quarter turn at a time still. Instead of eighth of a turn, let's go quarter turn. So anyway, this is getting a bit boring, I reckon. So we will see you at the next bit. So that's D21 spindle, brakes, everything sitting on the 620 lower ball joint. This is still the D21 upper ball joint. It's just gonna go up in there and then bolt straight back onto the 620 top arm. That is my next job. I've got some bolts. I'm gonna have to get some slightly longer ones because I didn't account for the little spacer rings. So don't forget your little spacer rings like this thing, they go up here. But I'm gonna leave them off for now and just get it in, and then I've gotta go get new bolts. But that, like, 2-minute job later on. So anyway, that is the next step. Bolt that back in there. Then you wanna go and get your jack up from the bottom of that. Make sure you don't squash this back and plate, get it underneath the arm, and then jack that arm up until this ball joint's in place here. And then it's in place. Now we can drop these bolts in, and we're like really close now, really close. Alright, I'll get that done and then I'll show you the next bit. She's all bolted in now. We can take this jack away. Oh, if I can undo it. Hang on, I need 2 pins. There we go. Then we can get rid of this. Oh, I'm still getting dirt out of there. Next up, that steering arm. I'm going to grease the shit out of that. The nipple's gone off the bottom. I don't know if it had one or if it's just been sheared off. So anyway, grease the shit out of that, put a new rubber on it, put that on there. So let's hook into that one. So I cleaned it all up, packed it with new grease. Now we're going to put the new rubber on, and then I've got to press it down on there and put that ring on, but I'm probably going to need 2 hands, and you don't really need to see this. So alright, then we're on to the next step. So steering arm is all refurbished, new boot, new everything. Then it's good to go on to this bit, yeah, like something, like, go, where are we? Get out, there, something like that. If I just give that the slightest tap up here, that should kind of do. Then we can put the castle nut back on and tighten that down. That bit is done, just the brakes to go. Alright, so the steering arm is back connected. I just need to get a new split pin to go in there, and that's all meant. So that's it. That's our D21 brakes on there. Like I said, that's the D21 ball joint. The bottom one's still the 620 ball joint down there. Now I'm just gonna hook this brake line back up there. So I'll put that bit in there. Then we'll put the clip down in there, and then put the brake line back on there and do it up with the 10mm brake spanner, and we're done. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll show you it's done. Alright guys, so that's it, it's done. I need to get some split pins for that and the castle nut on that ball joint. But that's it, the brakes are on, the steering is on, everything is on. All we gotta do now is, well, I guess put the wheel on. And then we gotta see if our brakes actually work. They look really dry down in there. Oh yeah, oh, especially that one. So like, hopefully I fill that up, and at least the front will all bleed up nice, because the pedal moves free. So yeah, so that is D21 Navara onto late model ball joint 620 front end. It's all like just pick and pull and match, and yeah, like there's nothing that you really need to do except undo the bolts and do them back up. Oh, you gotta pop the ball joint and things, but like if you've got the right bits and shit, like it is all fucking simple. You want a pickle Rick fork, you want one of them pullers, man, they're awesome. Then just your regular like sockets and spanners and a hammer and some pliers. Like you don't need a lot. This is pretty simple job. So yeah. Right, so there's the rubbish. Next big thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna get this floor shift box in. I need to find a shifter still, if you have one, know of one. Then we gotta find some new tires. I got these 17s. They're gonna go on here very nice. They fit clear the front and the back. So that's gonna be good. That's wheels and tires sorted. We still need to find a seat. Then that's pretty much in there sorted. And then we just need to replace these two shitty guards. And that's pretty much that sorted. Sam's got a new windscreen for me because this one's got a big crack across it. I've got windscreen wipers to go on. I got that cowl. Then I just got to find a tray, make sure my electronics is good, and we're done. It's hopefully not far from going to the roadworthy guy. A lot of that's going to depend on how good the brakes are. If the brake master and booster and everything's fine, this is all going to go really quick from here. So yeah, I hope you've learned something today. Well, I hope you learned how to put disc brakes on a 620 anyway. And yeah, that's about all I've got for the moment for this video. Yeah, like, subscribe, say hi, leave some comments, and share with your mates and whatever else, and see like if I can get up to 250 subscribers soon. Yeah, thanks for watching again. Love yous. See yous next time.